Okay, now that we've talked about adding pages, renaming them, reshifting them, changing their order, let's go ahead and talk about dynamic content and how we can make pages show up dynamically, as well as information show up dynamically. So what I like to use is what you'll see here, include join investor, right? That's one page. Now let's look at this form live. Okay, so my form, continue, Avi test, whatever. You can see we made a mistake in the last video, and I did this intentionally just to show you how to workshop some things that you'll encounter as you're building your own forms, right? So you see email shows up in the primary investor right here. Now, if you remember in the last video, I accidentally deleted it as I was shrinking this experience down. And now we see that it's nowhere to be found. Why is that? Because I came to join investor, I copied right there, and then I pasted it here. Now, this speaks to dynamic content. Why? In this join investor, you'll see that this is a conditional field based on my answer here, right? So if I come to primary investor joint, if it's no, then we're not going to see any data. Remember how we talked about, I don't want to interact with the data if it's not necessary or if it's not relevant to me. So your customers don't want to do the same thing. Now, if I hit yes, then the data shows up. But because this was a conditional field and I copied and pasted it here, it is also conditional here. So you'll see right here, it's not showing up. All right. So I am going to come in here, see that I have the conditional settings. So I'm just going to delete them completely. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit save changes. And then I'm going to refresh this page. Okay. Now you will see that the email now shows up. So here's the good news. This is your public link. Okay, you're going to put this in your Facebook, your social, your website, your webinars, your emails, whatever you want, wherever you want this form to persist and for customers to interact with it. Think pre-meeting questionnaires, think suitability, think fact finders, think anything that you would use to gather data from your customers. This is the link that you're going to put inside of a button. So, for example, let's go to Recon Wealth. And this is your website. You would come in and copy this link and put it behind this button so that when your customers come to your website, they see your logo, they get started on your forms. It's nice and easy. So if you can imagine, you've put this form with this link into 17 different places. If I come in and edit the form and add an email or fix a mistake that I made while building it, or compliance tells me I got to make a few changes, all I have to do is make the changes here, hit save changes, and then it will be live everywhere I've put this link. So you don't have to come in here, copy and paste this link everywhere you can imagine. So that's a nice little feature. Now, what we'll see is we test the form. We'll come back to my form, we'll hit continue, and the email shows up now because I took off the conditional experience. Now with join investor, right? In this regard, this is a well component and it's in the layout. Okay, so anytime I want to put a bunch of information all together and just do the one conditional change, right? I would use a well component. Okay, now here's why. If I move these out of this page or out of this well component, I'm going to just delete that one. I'm going to have to go in and make and do this conditional, true, include join investor, true, every single one. But if I put all of these into a well component, and let's go ahead and move this well component to the top. Let's go ahead and move middle initial up here, last name, email. Then all I have to do is come to the well component settings, hit conditional, and make it conditional based on a certain response. And then all of the details I want, instead of doing the conditional settings change 4 times, I only have to do it once. And so that's going to save you a lot of time. Now, here's a few things that you need to be aware of. This is your settings, okay? This is moving. This is editing a JSON, which is a complex feature, but we'll make it simple in another video. Don't worry about it for now. If you want to copy and paste below, you'll see that the same thing persists over here. Now, we don't need to do that. And again, it's going to make sure you want to delete something beforehand, which is great. I'm going to hit save changes, right? So I want this well right here with these 4 data points to show up if include join investor is yes. So I want it to show up, true. Yes, I want it to show up. What's the question I'm looking for? Include a joint investor. Yes. Okay. And so the data is always going to be true, false. That's what we call a Boolean string. So there's only 2 answers to this question, yes or no, right? And the mapping is found right here. What value, right? Include joint investor. Now, if this will show up, right? So as we come to primary address, we see that it's there. If we come to joint investor and we hit yes, then the entire well component with all these 4 data points shows up. Now, how do we get dynamic pages to show up? Because you'll see as I hit no, this dynamic joint investor address disappears, right? So that's only 3 pages that I've got to interact with. That's nice and easy as a customer. But if I hit yes, then pages are going to need to show up, right? And so we'll input that data. We'll come here. We'll see that because I haven't input a joint investor, right, this page is going to disappear. So your customer needs to input information, right? This is all ways that we eliminate NIGO. So let's just put in some dummy details, datatest.com, continue. And now I can input my address, city, state, zip code, and it's for the joint investor. So how do we make pages dynamic? So you're going to, come in here. And again, this is the entire page within this shadow box container. Come up to the very top, hit settings, you'll make it conditional, and you'll say, yes, true. I want this page to show up if there is a joint investor and the answer was yes, or the value has the value true. And that's how you make pages dynamic. All right, so you can do that for any number of pages, right? If you want to ask the question, let's say, let's do another select box right here. Do you want, let's make it less formal. Do you want a financial plan? Right? And so we're going to come to data and we're going to say yes, add another, no, and I like doing true, false, but you can, again, keep it simple, yes, no. So the question is, do you want a financial plan? All right, and let's put another page here, and let's just say, let's call this financial plan page. Okay, and for the purpose of keeping it short, we are going to say, okay, page 6, save. I'm going to hit save changes. I'm going to see that the form shows up. Changes were made, page 5, and then financial plan. Now, what if the answer is no? We want this page to disappear. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to do a false experience. All right, so we want this page to disappear. So this component should disappear when do you want a financial plan is false or no, whatever you chose to put in there. So I'm going to hit save changes. I'm going to come back. I'm going to refresh the form. I'm going to come to page 5 and hit yes, it shows up, and no, it disappears. So you can do it either way, right? You can make it a false and then it disappears, or you can make it a yes, and it's however you want to do it. So it works both ways, but that is how we add dynamic content and dynamic pages. So we'll see you in the next